Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to talk about Sqoop and Hive. So if we have to import data from a relational database to HDFS, the tool that we use is Sqoop. And once data lands into HDFS, if I wish to write SQL queries on top of it, the tool that we'll be using is Hive. So let's get going. Now, we've already installed Sqoop. The first thing we need to do is start the MySQL service, because in this demonstration, we are going to get data from MySQL and dump it into Hadoop. So we say sudo service mysqld start. So MySQL is up and running. Let's first connect to the database and check out the list of databases that we have in MySQL. Sqoop list databases, connect, JDBC, username root, password root. So what you see is that Sqoop tells you that in MySQL there are 4 databases right now: information schema, MySQL, test, and training DB. Let's verify that by connecting to MySQL. If you do show databases, you will exactly see the same 4 databases. So this was the first command where we just connect to relational database, that's MySQL, and we basically check what are the databases in there. In the next command, we will see how to list tables from Sqoop. Oops. So Sqoop list tables. Username root, password root. And what we see is that Sqoop has following tables right now: customer, employees, orders, order details, products, suppliers, and user log. Now, the goal of this exercise is we need to take data which is user underscore log table and dump it into HDFS. So let's do that. Sqoop import, connect JDBC, training DB, username root, password root. We need to say the which table we want to import. We say user underscore log, and we got to say that fields terminated by tab. So what we see is a MySQL program is running. So let's type this command again. So there was a mistake, so we just type it again. to say table user underscore log fields terminated by, and we got to give an option of that we need only one mapper for this particular Sqoop job. And a MapReduce program starts. Now this MapReduce program would run with only one mapper. Reason being, by default Sqoop runs with 4 mappers, but our table does not have a primary key, and that's why we got that error. So that error was to demonstrate the fact that if you don't have a primary key in your table, you will have to say that you only need one mapper. Now looks like the data is transferred, and a total of 50,000 records have been transferred to HDFS. When you look at it, we see a new folder here called as user underscore log. So the first observation here has to be a table in MySQL that gets imported to HDFS would end up being a folder here with the same name, that's user log. Then we say Hadoop FSLS user underscore log. What we see is a part M file. There is only one file because the number of mappers is 1. And we see here 50,000 rows, which are exactly what we had in MySQL. Now, our data has successfully got transferred from MySQL to HDFS. Now, let's just say that I am a data analyst who does not know how to write a Java program. To analyze this particular data, what we need to know is Java, but let's just say I'm not a Java developer, and I would prefer to basically write a SQL query. To do that, we will have to use another ecosystem project that's called as Hive. So let's look at how do we use Hive. So we've already installed Hive. The next thing we need to do is create a Hive warehouse directory. We've seen what is Hive warehouse directory in the Hive lecture. Now, Hive has been already set up on this VM. That's why we may have to clean up the metastore. That's what we are going to do here. So let's get going. So after Hive is installed, we will quickly create Hive warehouse directory. We'll give read-write permissions to the group. And we will basically set up the metastore. So what we first do is we will remove the existing metastore that is already set up. Okay, and we will make the metastore directory writable. At this moment, we'll have to also ensure that none of the Hive processes are already running because it was previously set up for you. And if Hive is running, we'll have to stop the services. Here we see that couple of Hive services are already running and we'll have to kill them here. Now, at this moment, if you see, all the processes are killed which are running Hive. We've cleaned up the metastore because this was previously set up when I installed Hive for you guys. So now we are completely clean and it's time to start Hive. So here we are on Hive. And we do show tables. What we see is that Hive still does not have even a single table. So let's start by creating a table in Hive. So we say create table user_log. Its country is string. IP address string. So we are trying to take the file which is user_log and give it as a status of a table. So here we say country and IP address both are string, and then we say row format delimited fields terminated by tab. Now this is our way of saying that when data is loaded to this user log table, the fields are terminated by a tab, and it's stored as text file. So the table is created. Now we have an empty table. It's time to load the data into Hive. So we are taking user log part file and loading into and the data is completely loaded. Let's quickly run a query to see if data is loaded. So we run a query here. So once you run a query, a MapReduce job gets fired. And what we are expecting here is that all the IP addresses should be grouped by the country. So here we see the output. So what we've successfully done in this particular video is we got data from MySQL. Using Sqoop, we loaded it to HDFS. Using Hive, we took that data and we loaded into a Hive table, and we are successfully able to write SQL query. So this video demonstrates the fact that we don't have to learn Java to analyze the data. We can perfectly dump data into HDFS and give it as a status of a table and perfectly run Hive queries. Thanks for watching this video.